with your hosts, Loud Esmond and Jeremy James. For the best takes in NFL and football betting, fantasy football, and the latest news, get ready to steer the line.
Hi, welcome everyone again. Another Friday evening here on Steer the Line. Welcome those of you listening on 1490 AM KMET in the Inland Empire area of Southern California, and those of you who might be watching from anywhere around the world on YouTube or Twitch. Thank you for joining us here as well. Loud Esmond is here as usual. Christian Giordani, I think we might be without Rocky tonight, but
no Rock.
I think we can hold down the fort without him for one show, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
So yeah.
Wait. Let me contribute for Rocky because we miss him. Okay, there we go. Rocky's here in spirit.
You know, fun story about Rocky. One time when he was on a movie set, he fell asleep and snored so loud that the mic guy picked it up at every single scene. There's one scene in a single movie with him that you can hear his snoring in the background. So look out for it.
Really, really funny.
Yeah, if you want to find the movie, it's on Amazon. It's called Shiner.
I'm watching that.
Hilarious. Shiner, the movie where you can hear Rocky Giordani snoring in the background of every scene. That's great. Okay, where do we want to begin, Christian, Jeremy? What do you got on your minds?
You know, the biggest news in the NFL right now is obviously Deshaun Watson appeal.
All right, I'm muting my mic. Go ahead.
Okay, you know, I think it's straight diabolical what the NFL did. They put on a face and said, of course we're going to go for an appeal and get more suspension on Deshaun Watson. He's going to have at least a season, at least more. And, you know, the players' union's even there with them. And Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns agency are fighting the appeal and trying to get it to around maybe 8 games, keep it at 6 with just a higher fine. They left it off at 11 games with a $5 million fine. First of all, I just want to start out saying $5 million is nothing to a guy who just made $230 million, and also had, $16 million annually while he was on the Texans? That is nothing. That's not even a year gauge. If you want to, fine this man for the entire season payroll. That would have been $40 million. Secondly, 11 games. There's a reason they didn't go to even odd 12. Can anyone guess why?
Because he gets to go right back and face the Texans.
Exactly.
The game the NFL originally claimed that they didn't want him having any part of.
Of course, but they're definitely going to have it because the TV ratings are going to be there. There's going to be fans from Texans booing him. Fans from Cleveland going to be cheering him on. It's going to be entertaining either way. You know what they always say, any publicity is good publicity. So it's terrible how the NFL just put on a face to make it look good. I'm glad he does have more games, but it should have been a season. I get why they did the 11 games. It's just insane to me. Jeremy, loud.
Jeremy, please.
I mean, you know, we've heard all the other excuses so far on all the other talk shows and news reports. You know, the NFL is trying to avoid dragging it out in court and blah 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 yada yada. Whatever. They buckled under the pressure of, you know, having to go to court, having to deal with the NFLPA. You know, I'm sorry, 11 games and $5 million is nothing. I would have fined him more money and still given him a full year to really know that, you know, if they wanted to be serious about it, you know, no, you're getting your full year and, you know, the full year's check, you know, $40 million. You know, he's still standing out there going, oh, I apologize for anyone I offended, but he still doesn't think he did anything wrong. So obviously the guy hasn't learned his lesson in this situation. So, you know, forget him, forget the Cleveland Browns, and it's a disappointing day for the NFL.
I understand why the NFL did what they did. And for everybody who doesn't know, I make my living in public relations. This weekend stuff is fun, and I enjoy the sports betting and the fantasy football stuff. And I make a little, side hustle money working for some betting sites and that sort of thing. And I love doing the show mainly because it's just fun. I get to hook up with friends like Jeremy and Christian and Rocky, and it's great to talk football. I love it. But I make my living advising companies in public relations. And here's the deal. The NFL wanted this story put away before week 1. They did not want this story continuing into the season, and the NFLPA was not going to let them suspend Watson for a full season without taking them to court because they didn't want it as a precedent. So Roger Goodell was faced with, do I hold to the full season and fine him $15-20 million and fine the Texans and fine the Browns and have this drag out in court half the season, most of the season, a full season. And this is the news about the NFL. It's not about the games. It's not about the great matchups. It's about Deshaun Watson and that case. Well, you're right. He buckled. But the reason is they wanted this story. I teach classes in crisis communications, and the goal in crisis communications is to stop the crisis. The way to stop a crisis communication story is to take the oxygen away from the fire. And by getting to a settlement, that's what they did. You're right, it was weak. It's a bad look, but once the season kicks off and this isn't a story anymore, everyone's going to forget.
Yeah, it's terrible how it's just so easily forgettable stuff like this in the NFL, and it's crazy to me. But the real question is, how is this going to affect the Browns' record with the I believe the 5 more games? He had 6 originally,
right?
So how is that going to affect the Browns' record, Loud?
Their first 4 games are decently winnable. I would have to bring up their schedule, but I think they've got the Jets. Hang on just a second. Jeremy, vamp for a second. What do you think, Jeremy, betting-wise for the yeah.
Oh, well, betting-wise, let me tell you. No, I stay away from them. They got Jacoby Brissett. They're not going to be doing much of anything, you know. He's good enough to lead the team, I guess, but yeah,
well,
he's not much of a quarterback.
He's not terrible, but he's not really a starting quarterback in the NFL. So,
No.
All right. So they open with the Panthers. Winnable, but I think the Panthers are going to beat them because of the Baker Mayfield factor.
I think so. That's his revenge game.
Then they get the Jets. Winnable. Then they get the Steelers. I don't know. The Steelers look pretty good.
It's preseason.
And then they get the Falcons. Winnable. But after that, Chargers, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals. Eek.
Wow.
That's tough. That's a tough schedule right there.
Dolphins, Bills, Buccaneers. I think they might split the first 2 games, but you get to that next stretch. Chargers, loss. Patriots, maybe a win. Ravens, loss. Bengals, loss. Dolphins, loss. Bills, loss. Buccaneers, loss. So they're so far underwater by the time Deshaun Watson comes back. Frankly, if I was the Cleveland Browns management, I am not bringing him back this season.
You're going to sit him for the rest of the season?
He's not. You're going to put him in meaningless games.
Well, yeah,
they're going to be 3-9.
But you're paying this man $240 million. You're going to have to play him.
Okay, so Christian, you've got a $4 million vintage Ferrari.
All right.
Do you bring it back and put it in a race at the end of a season where you have no chance of finishing in the money?
I see your point. It's just I don't see the way the Cleveland Browns front management is not going to let him at least get a few games in or a few plays.
Yeah, they're at least going to want to create some buzz heading into the end of the season, sell some tickets.
Exactly.
When they're 2-9 or 3-8 by the time he comes back, you know, I mean, at 3-8, they might have that. Oh, he could win 6 games. We'll be 9-8 and maybe sneak into the play, you know. But that's the best they could do, and that's probably what their record's going to be about that point.
Yeah, you know, they're
So,
gonna.
I mean, but he's going to play. I understand why Loud would say sit him, and it makes sense from a football perspective.
I would do it.
Like I said, they're going to want to create buzz for the next season. They're going to want to show what he has because he hasn't been on the field in a while.
In 2 years.
And they're going to want to put butts in their seats because 3-8.
You know, and here's the thing. That's another argument in my favor as far as I'm concerned. He's going to be so rusty. You're going to bring him back in week 12 with what? A few days of practice? He'll look terrible. Did you see how bad he looked
in the
preseason game?
He
looked
terrible.
awful.
This is going to haunt the Browns as one of the worst signings in NFL history.
I think I'm with you. I think this is the curse of the Bambino.
The curse of Baker.
Generation,
this is the
right?
curse of the Baker.
This is the curse of Baker. I think the Browns are screwed.
It's insane because, like, Baker was the franchise guy. I get he's not the best quarterback in the league. I think him and Deshaun Watson are really even in talent, despite what people say. Baker was great in 2020. He was a top 15 player in the league, a top 10 quarterback. And, you know, he brought the Browns to their first playoff win in, 3 decades?
Something like
and now,
that, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, they had the commercials where he was living in the stadium. He loved Cleveland. He went to the Indians games, now the Guardians. He went to, you know, he was a big advocate for Cleveland. And, you know, he did all this stuff for them. And he had one bad season due to an injury that the front office, the coaching staff, let him play on a torn labrum, which I have a torn labrum.
I
know how bad that is.
I was saying all last year on this show, they need to force him off the field.
Exactly. Guys like that, guys like Stafford, Baker, Mayfield, like they are not going to get off the field. You have to drag them off the field.
Right.
Exactly.
It was horrible to watch him in a couple games when he got hit and he couldn't get back up.
But he kept on going and throwing that ball. He threw the ball and they just let him in there and took it out.
It was stupid. It was dumb.
And then the fans saw the tank in productivity and just threw him under the bus. Said, "We don't need him anymore. Let's go get someone else."
I thought it's bad all the way around. It's a bad look for the NFL. It's a bad look for the Cleveland Browns. I think Baker's going to get his revenge game, and I think Cleveland is saddling themselves. I don't know if Deshaun Watson will ever mentally be right again.
I think he'll be fine. I don't think this is affecting him at all.
No, I don't either.
He has no remorse. He has no remorse. Excuse me if I sound like a 13-year-old boy.
Have you ever, well, you are closer to 13 than you are to 30. So, just saying. Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart. Does anybody know the story besides me, or am I the only one who's literate?
I've read it, yes, many times.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
take it
dyslexic, but I can still read.
You know. So the guy has no conscience. He murders the guy, but what is constantly there in his head? The beating of the heart. The beating of the heart. The police detectives question him. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Don't you hear that? Don't you hear that? He's tearing up the floorboards because he hears the heart still beating. I think that's Deshaun Watson. He knows he's a POS. He knows he's been exposed as a POS. And he's pretending it doesn't bother him. But there's more than something physical going on when you look at how bad he played. He made Geno Smith look good.
That's bad. That's bad.
Comparing how bad Geno Smith looked in the game last night.
No, I don't think it's the effect of the suspension and the PR and all that. I really think it's just first game jitters back. And on top of the crowd chirping at him. They're going to do that all season long, probably for the rest of his career.
Well,
and
I have my questions about whether or not he's ever going to be. Who was the guy who got the yips as a golfer? He was like one of the greatest golfers ever, and all of a sudden he couldn't hit a golf ball. And was it Chuck Knobloch that couldn't throw the ball to first base anymore? He was a shortstop, and he just couldn't throw.
There was a pitcher who couldn't throw it almost as in first game. He got the yips, couldn't throw. They sent him down to the minors.
Yeah. So
I was trying to remember his name.
Right.
Christian
and so it's the same kind of thing. I do wonder if it's just always going to be this weight that will be there. I think the Cleveland Browns are screwed. Here's the other question with regards to the Browns. Jimmy Garoppolo. Jeremy.
I don't see it happening. Not with him coming back at some point this season. They know exactly when they're going to have him. I think they're just going to roll with what's his face, I can never remember this kid's name.
The backup.
Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett, yes.
Brissett, yeah.
They're just going to roll with Brissett. Like I say, he's a game manager enough to get them through the season, maybe get a few wins. I just don't see them throwing more money in another quarterback to play 11 games for them when they've already done all this. So no, I have no idea what's going to happen with Jimmy G, but I don't think it's going to be Cleveland. No.
Suddenly there's a major problem in Seattle.
Yeah. Geno Smith with the bruised knee and
Geno
Drew
Smith
Lock.
looked like warmed over dog S last night. I mean, he looked awful. Honestly, I live up here in Seahawk land in the Pacific Northwest, and there's panic. I mean, it is everywhere on social media. Oh my God. What is wrong with the Seahawks? Geno Smith is terrible. I mean,
we all knew that though. We all knew Geno Smith is just
now
at
your
best
guy
okay.
Drew Lock was supposed to get a big look in the game last night, but he came up with COVID.
He got the Rona, yeah.
He got the Rona and couldn't play. Now, guess what? Geno Smith may not be able to play the last game at all. He might not be able to start week 1.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. It's a bruised knee. Yeah, he might sit out week 1.
Yeah. There was a big freaking ice pack on his knee after the game.
The coach said, though, that in a regular game he could have come back in.
Yeah, and, as an athlete, stuff like in meaningless games and preseason, stuff like that, if you get a little injury, they're going to leave you out of it for the rest just to make sure it doesn't worsen. When I used to play baseball back in high school and I used to mess up my knee, banging them up, they would sit me out for the rest of the preseason game and get me good for the regular season, That's what it was.
Because you mattered. I was one of those players that sucked. They just said, suck it up. If you get hurt more, we don't care.
Here's what you could tell your neighbors up there loud in that area. There is somebody, if not a few somebodies, that Pete Carroll loves at quarterback coming up in this year's draft.
Yes.
That's why we're seeing what we're seeing.
Right.
They're just going to ride with one of these guys. They're not going to bring in Jimmy G and spend the money, or they would have already done it. There are quarterbacks that they like next year, and they're just going to wait it out and get one of their young guys.
Okay, so then here's the question. What the hell is Jimmy Garoppolo going to do this season?
All right, if I'm any team in the NFL, do not pick up Jimmy Garoppolo unless, one, he's cut.
Well,
two,
I'm assuming he's going to be cut.
They're
not going
to
pay him $18 million
and they can't trade him
to back up. And no one's going to trade for him.
Unless San Francisco eats a majority of that
All right,
contract.
Christian, you know the numbers. When is the date when Jimmy Garoppolo has to be released?
I believe it's
or they have
September,
to pay him $18.5 million.
September 9th.
Isn't it by cut day?
Oh, it has to be by cut day. Okay,
Yeah,
so September 8th is the start of the season. That's the Thursday night game between the Buffalo Bills and there's some team that plays in Los Angeles. I can't remember their name. The Bills, who are really good, and then some team in L.A.
The reigning Super Bowl champs.
Oh, yeah, those guys. Yeah. Who has a quarterback who can't throw?
Is 30th the final cut day?
Yeah, 30th.
Okay, so
August 30th is the final cut. So, that's when they're going to have to cut him, before then. If not,
I think at that point he will find somebody, even as a backup, somebody I think will offer him a decent enough 1-year backup contract. Somebody who's not comfortable with their backup, or if they're just concerned with maybe the young guy they have.
A team I can see is like Atlanta.
Maybe he backs up.
I think they
Justin
brought
Fields
in
or something like
Mariota
that
for a reason, and they'll ride with him. I think it's going to be an injury. I think there's going to be a quarterback that's going to get hurt in the 3rd or 4th week of the season, and then Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up somewhere. I don't think anybody picks him up until that happens.
I don't know. It's not like he's a bad quarterback.
But I'm just saying, where is it that they don't have a plan at quarterback?
That's the thing. Everyone's got their plan going into the season at this point. Jimmy G is going to be the emergency guy when those plans are forced.
Somebody's going to get hurt, and it's going to be a Cam Newton type situation, right?
Or who knows? San Francisco might just stay with him and in case Trey Lance just doesn't pan out, they put Jimmy G
Oh,
right
they
back in
are
the system.
so high on Trey Lance now.
But is he really going to be that good? What if he loses the straight
I don't think
first
they
6
don't
games?
want that hanging over Trey Lance.
No.
I don't think they
No.
don't want him back there. They don't, if he and Trey Lance stutters or falters at all, loses a couple games, they don't want the fans
They don't
calling
want-
for Jimmy.
But
They
you're
just
a
want to be
professional.
done.
That's part of the game.
Jimmy G.
I think they're gonna wash their hands.
Can't
of
have
Yeah,
it.
it's like pick one or the other. I get it, but if I was the San Francisco GM, I would keep Jimmy G as a backup safe because you already have the money on salary. Even if you cut him, you're gonna have to pay $19 million of it.
You know what team? If I am that team that I'm getting Jimmy G behind my guy is the New York Giants. If you don't have
that's
faith,
not a bad idea.
if you don't have faith in Daniel Jones or you're not 100% sure and he
Well,
falters in the
don't they
first 3 or
have
4
the guy
games,
who no, they have their backup. It's Oh God,
Exactly.
No,
yeah,
it's
there you go.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I know they got
They
Tyrod, but
Tyrod
I mean,
Taylor. Win.
No.
Tyrod is capable. Jimmy G wins games in this league, and he's proven it. So
And you
we'll
know
have-
what?
So
He dated a porn star and took her to a public restaurant, so he's perfect for New York.
Hey, another team I was thinking of just now that popped in my head, the Giants' neighbors, the Jets.
Say
Zach
the
Wilson,
butt of- wait. Did you say from the butt of my head?
back of my head.
Oh, sorry.
that's where the butt would be.
I'm just
I
totally.
guess.
Yeah, I
If he
got
was
it.
a
But
Butthead.
I thought of them, the neighbors for the Giants, the Jets. Zach Wilson just went down for Week 1. That's your quarterback, right, Zach Wilson?
Oh, they got old man
they've got Joe
Flacco.
Flacco.
I can't believe I forgot that. I love Joe Flacco too. He's one of my
Joe
favorite
Flacco.
quarterbacks.
Oh.
Isn't he about he's 78 now, right?
38.
Anyway,
Yeah, again, if Zach was really hurt and they felt like they could win this season, then yeah, I think they would go with Jimmy over Joe.
I think somebody's going to get an injury week 2, 3, 4, and that's where Jimmy G's going to go. By the way, let's talk about some picks. Because this is a show about, picking games and gambling and fantasy football and all that vice. I got the Panthers plus 6.5 tonight. Right now, it is 10-3, New England over Carolina. The funny thing about this game is Matt Rule at the beginning of this week was saying, well, I've got to see more from Baker and more from Sam Darnold to decide who's going to be our starting quarterback. And then there was 2 bench clearing brawls and multiple fights in the team practices between Carolina and the Patriots. And all of a sudden, Matt Rule sat 30 starters in this game.
Wow. Is that why it was P.J. Walker and the rookie?
Yeah,
Alternating
he took
tonight?
everybody. 1 hour before the game, it was announced no starter will play in this game. I think he was worried that this game was going to be really physical because of what happened earlier in the week between the 2 teams. And frankly, he peed himself.
Yeah, expect it to be physical. When stuff like that happens in interlock team practices, it gets real.
Oh, there was a defensive lineman earlier in the game today that should have been ejected. At least 5 seconds after the play, he comes up behind P.J. Walker and basically elbows him hard in the middle of the back and took him to the ground.
And a big thing about stuff that people don't know with the preseason with guys like this, a lot of these guys are unproven or journeymen that are hungry for a roster spot. And when you get physical with the other team, coaches get riled up on that. And it makes the players like that get even more physical and want to get, hurt the guy right next to them.
I think Matt Rule kind of wee-weed himself in pulling everybody. I think it was kind of weak.
That was a
move.
knee-jerk reaction right there.
It was a weak move. By the way,
it might be a little smart though. The preseason game doesn't matter. You don't want your guys getting.
Oh
hurt
yeah,
over some
I totally
stupid
agree.
stuff,
Don't risk nothing for the preseason.
Yeah.
But I just love the physical part of football like that, man. When people
all right,
get
okay,
chirpy.
couple of lines that I think are really interesting. The Steelers are plus 3.5 against the Jaguars. Does that make any sense to anybody? Given that the Jaguars scored 14 points and lost 23-14 to the Browns, and that the Steelers beat the Colts 27-24 last week.
And the Seahawks the week before,
Yeah, I mean, hello?
Yeah.
Why is Pittsburgh getting a field goal plus, Christian, against the Jaguars?
I genuinely don't know. I think Pittsburgh should be winning that game. But, what's the over-under on the game?
37.5.
37.5. Take the over. Pittsburgh's going to go off.
Lions -3 against the Colts. That one makes no sense to me either. The Colts are going to be a playoff team with Matt Ryan and that great running game. The Lions lost their opening game pretty badly to the Falcons, who suck. I think it's the Hard Knocks effect, Jeremy. I think people love what they're seeing of the Lions on Hard Knocks, and that's driving the betting line, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, I talked to some guys at a couple of different sports books this morning about this line, and they said, oh, yeah, it's the Hard Knocks effect.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of adopting the Lions this year. You hear a lot of people, who like the coach, like the team, and after you watch Hard Knocks, how do you not love that coaching?
1 minute.
So yeah, absolutely. I think that show is really giving them a little edge with the fans this year.
No, but I say take the Lions. The Colts have had a terrible preseason. I can see why the Lions are favorites.
-3 though. I might take the Lions on the money line, but -3.
Yeah, take them on the money line, but
Steelers, I like +3.5. By the way, later tonight you have the Rams, the Texans at the Rams, kicking off 7 o'clock PST. Not PMS, PST. Texans at Rams at 7 p.m. Rams +2.5. Christian, why are the Rams +2.5 against the Texans in 15 seconds or less?
I have no idea. I know the Texans are starting some of their starters, and the Rams still have all their backups in. But the Rams have a lot of momentum coming in from last week.
Rams backups are better than the Texans starters.
Exactly. So that's probably why the prediction's over that. I say take the Rams +2.5 and go under 38.5 points.
There you go. All right, Jeremy, take us out, and then do we have the clip from earlier today?
Yes, we do.
Okay, here we go.
All right, thank you everyone listening today again on 1490 AM KMET and the Inland Empire, Southern California. We'll be back next week and every week at 5 o'clock. Hop on over online to join us for the rest of the show on our Steer the Line YouTube or Twitch channels. We'll see you there and catch you next week. Go Raiders, go Rams, Christian. That's where you say Rams.
Oh,
go football. See you guys next week.
I was waiting for Rocky.
Go Rocky!
And for those of you still joining us here on YouTube or Twitch or joining us from the radio show, thanks again. We're talking this week's preseason game picks. Of course, Loud has his numbers. Which game are we looking at next coming up?
Give me my backpack, would you? So, vamp
Riveting.
for a minute. Actually, you know what? Let's roll the clip from
oh, that's right.
earlier today.
I got it right here.
All right, let's do that. Loud Esmond here, and I am presenting to you the second edition of the Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook Weekend Outlook. Looking back over the past few days, the Mariners have kept their one-game lead in the wild card race. One game, tenuous. They got to rip off some wins. People still betting on the Mariners here, and the action is good on them this weekend. Of course, you got a full slate of baseball games to bet on here at the Sportsbook this weekend if you choose to do so. Last night, the Seahawks, well, I can't say the Seahawks played a football game. The Seahawks were on the field with another team that played a football game. They looked awful. If that defense is giving up that many points against the Chicago Bears, when they face the Cardinals or the 49ers or some other team that actually has an offense, wow, is that going to be ugly. And Geno Smith looked awful, not ready for prime time. Drew Lock was supposed to get an extensive look in that game, and he did not because of COVID. And I'm getting a knee signal. Geno Smith, the knee injury. Yes, that's true. He hurt his knee in the game. Well, my producer's trying to help me out here. So reminded me, of course, that there was a knee injury to Geno Smith as well. So Christian's guy, Drew Lock, might get an extensive look, and maybe we'll start the season in Seattle. We'll see. But, boy, did they look awful. Of course, you can get your NFL futures bets in still, whether you want to bet on the Super Bowl or the most valuable player. Deshaun Watson is plus 6,800. I think maybe he should be like plus 1 million at this point, given what just happened. Some interesting ones. Derek Carr, by the way, is currently, if if I can find that right here, plus 2840 most valuable player. So a $10 bet would pay you back about $300. $100 bet about $2,840 plus your 100 minus the vig, almost $3,000. Well, that'd buy a few steak dinners. Aaron Rodgers is not quite the leader in the clubhouse. He's at plus 980. Interesting one to me is the running back for Indianapolis, whose name is, of course, escaping me. But in any case, Herbert, that's the Chargers quarterback. But anyway, the do-it-all running back for the Indianapolis Colts is about plus 5,000. And I think he would be an interesting bet. Jonathan Taylor plus 5,000. He's an interesting one to take a look at for most valuable player. $100 bet would pay you back $5,000 on that. And then as far as the Super Bowl, the chalk is the Bills at plus 650. You've got the Rams, an interesting choice at about plus 1,200. And it drops off from there. One team for sure I am not interested in is the Green Bay Packers at like plus 1,100. I don't think there's a chance in hell that they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, which I probably just guaranteed they will. Couple interesting lines to look at this weekend. The Detroit Lions, who lost their opening game in the preseason to the Falcons, well, they're -3 at the Colts, which the Colts are supposed to be a playoff team and the Lions are supposed to stink, so I'm not sure what's going on with the line there. Steelers plus 3.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars makes a little more sense to me. Mike Tomlin likes to win preseason games. And then, boy, the story of the week, besides the finally the end to the Deshaun Watson saga with the 11-game suspension and $5 million fine, the story of the week is the really ugly, chippy practices between the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots. Multiple bench-clearing brawls, to use a baseball term. Several guys escorted from practice. Cheap shots, taunting. Man, it got ugly. Now, the question is, Bill Belichick, is he going to take that personally? I'm going to say no. He's going to be his grumpy lobster-throat captain self and treat the preseason as the preseason should be treated. However, Matt Rule, the coach on the other side, is a guy who can be a bit of a hothead. So I think Matt Rule and the Panthers can be highly motivated to win that game, and they're getting 6 points. Again, interesting from a point spread perspective. Anyway, you got a full slate of NFL preseason games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Of course, you've got baseball going on as well. Lots of things to bet on. NFL futures, over-under wins. Well, it's a potpourri, let's just say, of sports betting options here at the Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook. And this has been the Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook Weekend Outlook. I'm Loud Esmond. So let's just say that look with job with bad. I don't understand what it's all about.
Do you hear him? Is that just me?
Yeah, no, you're kind of
All
going
right.
in and out there loud. Your
I'm sorry.
microphone's going goofy.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
you're good.
Okay, sorry. So, sorry about the bad video quality. We're still trying to work out because there's so much light in that. There's so much light and TV screens and all that it's sort of hard to figure out exactly where the camera should be pointed. And we're working on that. Actually, we have a 4K camera that we worked out today that actually looked pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so here are the picks that I personally did. Baltimore Ravens on the money line, Buffalo Bills on the money line, and then Steelers +3. And then I took those three and I put them on a parlay. Steelers +3, Bills on the money line, Ravens on the money line. So that's how I combined things this weekend. To talk about what we were talking about earlier, terrified about what's going on in Seattle, disappointed about what happened with Deshaun Watson. Right now, you have Green Bay and New Orleans 0-0, and at halftime it was 10-3 Patriots over the Carolina Panthers, who I have at plus 6.5. Jeremy, the Raiders have looked damn good in the preseason without Derek Carr or Devontae Adams or Darren Waller or the little guy with the balding head who we love in the slot. I mean,
Hunter
honestly,
Renfrow?
yeah,
Hunter Renfrow looks like a substitute teacher.
he does. He looks like the substitute science teacher. But damn, he's deadly.
If you put Hunter Renfrow and DK Metcalf next to each other, it's insane that Hunter Renfrow has better stats than DK Metcalf.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, Jeremy, how do you feel about the Raiders going forward this year?
Watching the preseason games, one of the things I do find encouraging is that apparently a lot of the backup players and everyone else, I know it's basic stuff, but at least they're getting an idea of what the offense is going to be like. They're understanding what this coaching staff wants, and they're able to execute pretty well so far in the season. I know it's a very vanilla offense, and things will get a lot more intricate and interesting with that Josh McDaniels offense as the season actually starts. But it's still encouraging that, if these guys are getting it, that means, all the starters we haven't seen yet, Derek Carr, we know he's a smart quarterback. He's going to get this offense, and I think they're going to really thrive all around in the passing game, the run game, everything in this Josh McDaniels offense. And I got to say, the defense hasn't looked terrible. It's been kind of nice to see that too. They're executing it.
By the way, the Raiders picked up a significant player this week who is adding to the pass rush, right, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, former third round pick. I forget who he played for originally, but yeah, he's Jordan Jenkins, I believe is his name, and he's going to be coming in as probably a rotational piece there on the defensive end, and it's a nice pickup at this point in the season. They still have lots of money and still some moves I would like to maybe see them make, but as we head into another week of the preseason, maybe after week 2, we'll see if they feel like they have some holes to fill.
Here's the question for me for the Raiders is on the defensive end, they're okay. At cornerback and safety, I actually feel pretty good right now. At linebacker, I'm meh. But
I think the linebackers are going to be sneaky good.
In the middle of that line, who is stopping the run? I'm worried about that. For God's sake, why don't we go sign Ndamukong Suh, Jeremy?
That's the question a lot of Raiders fans are asking right now. I mean,
he's the perfect Raider.
Yeah, I see it a dozen times a day on Twitter. He's a cheap
shot artist. He's a bad person. He plays with violence. He's a Raider. Go get him. He
is. Yeah, no, he's always seemed like the type of guy that would be a perfect Raider, and anytime he's been available, I've always thought it'd be cool to go and get him. And even at his age right now, we saw what he did last season at the end of the season in the playoffs for Tampa Bay. He's still got some juice left, and I think it would be a great move for the Raiders to make. I am on board with that, like the rest of Raiders Twitter. They want it bad over there, and I agree. I'd like to see that move made. Yeah, whether it happens or not, I don't know. But he mentioned it before, probably about a month ago. It'd be fun to play for the Raiders.
Christian, do you know how much money the Raiders have left in cap space right now?
I believe it's around.
It's about 22 and a half, right?
About 22 million.
Yeah,
they're like second in the league still.
Then what are we doing?
Yeah, 22.5 mil. Yeah,
I know.
For God's sake, go sign a right tackle and Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of right tackles to throw money at right now. That's the problem.
As someone who's had Ndamukong Suh on his favorite team, he's a great player to have. Especially when you already have a great defensive line, he's gonna eat it up if he's a Raider. And honestly, Ndamukong Suh, if you're listening, don't listen to them. Come back to the Rams, please. Please, we need another pass rusher.
I would love to see that move, and that's really the one guy out there I think that they could sign that can make a difference on the defense right now. But I don't know what they're going to do with the money. I know they're still talking about getting an extension for Darren Waller before week 1. I know they're working on that, but even if that gets done, they're going to have money to spend So throw it at Sue, and I don't know who else might be out there that they would want to spend the money on. I know people keep saying get a tackle, get another offensive lineman or two, but the talent is thin in the free agency market at the offensive line right now.
Yeah, the one thing I've been seeing going around Twitter and Facebook, Twitter and Instagram going around is OBJ to the Raiders. Another guy on a playoff push team. Someone who's a veteran and now a Super Bowl champ. Someone who was very well going to be the Super Bowl MVP if he didn't tear his ACL. It's a guy to have on your roster to be, a good deep playoff push player. What do you guys
He won't
think
be
about
signing,
that?
I don't think, though, till he's ready to play. He'll pick the playoff team where he fits in and can catch some balls and go to the playoffs and maybe make a real run. And he'll join a team at that point when half a dozen of them are throwing money his way, going, "Come play for us, help us get to the Super Bowl."
Yeah, no doubt he's going to go to a contender because he's not going to get a big paycheck this season. It's going to be another prove me deal.
Yeah,
I don't think that there's going to be that much competition for Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just going back to this. I think it's going to be when somebody gets hurt. Does anybody disagree with that? I just want to put that on the table.
No, I don't completely disagree. I can see a team pick him up right now. Like, the only team I really do see is Seattle, just because how questionable their quarterback situation is. Even with all my hopes for Drew Lock, there's no guarantee how good he's going to be. Geno Smith is just an okay quarterback, and I don't see Seattle. If Drew Lock is not what I think he will be, I don't think Seattle will be contending for anything. And I think the best thing they can do is tank for a quarterback next year, for a good quarterback class. So, yeah, I agree.
I have been very critical of people that are saying, oh, well, Kansas City lost Tyreek Hill, and they'll be just fine. And Aaron Rodgers lost Devontae Adams, but he'll be just fine. And I put a thing out on Facebook, and I said, you know what? If that damn Jerry Rice had just been cut 2 years into playing for the 49ers, we might have seen the real ability of Joe Montana.
I mean,
thoughts?
Jeremy, you want to take this one? This is before
I'm not sure Loud is going with this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe Montana and Jerry Rice were an incredible team in terms of quarterback and receiver.
Yeah, one of the best duos of all time.
Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill were an incredible team in terms of quarterback and receiver.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Man Bun, and Devontae Adams were incredible teammates in terms of quarterback and receiver. Everybody is saying Aaron Rodgers won't miss a step even though he's lost Devontae Adams. Everybody is saying, you know what? Despite losing Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes is going to be a better quarterback. It's the same as saying that if Joe Montana just got rid of that damn Jerry Rice, he'd be a better quarterback. Where am I wrong?
I get where you're coming from now. I got to say, there was no transition from from Jimmy G to that topic. That's why I'm like, where are you going with this? You're comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to...
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I got you.
Okay,
I got you now.
You started right dead in the middle.
Yeah, no, I agree on to a point that these guys help make each other better. You lose someone like Devontae Adams, even if you are, Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to affect him, and his numbers may go down a little bit, and he's going to have to find a new weapon. I don't think he has anybody near talented enough to take over for Devontae. So, much like in KC, it's going to be 2 or 3 new guys he's going to have to get used to take over for what Devontae did, just like KC pretty much planned for. I think they did a better job in KC. Filling that hole that Tyreek Hill left by going out and getting, Juju and getting, the other guy with 3 names from Green Bay.
Juju,
getting Sky Moore. I think they did a pretty good job of knowing, no, we can't replace a guy like Tyreek Hill with one other guy. So let's go get, 2 or 3 talented guys that Mahomes can probably make stars out of. So,
Yeah, I completely
it
agree with
goes.
that. I completely agree with that. The Aaron Rodgers take where he's going to be fine without Devontae Adams. I don't see Green Bay winning that division next year. I can see them being in contention for a playoff spot, but not winning that division. I think that's the Vikings division all year long, especially how good Jay Jettis is going to be next season, Justin Jefferson. But yeah, Kansas City did a really good job not replacing, but filling in the gaps where Tyreek Hill left. You know, you can't lose a top 5 receiver in the league and just be okay.
There
You can't
is
be better.
nobody that stretches the field like Tyreek Hill in the
Yeah.
NFL.
No.
One of the
Okay.
best, maybe the best deep threat receiver in football. You know, and Juju Smith, a lot of people are doubting him, but he was a good a good receiver in his early days in
He's good.
in Pittsburgh. You know, and he was
He's
good. He got guys like
nice.
Antonio Brown, and
Yeah,
then
he's a Subaru.
and then
He ain't
Vasquez.
he ain't no Ferrari or Cheetah, Christian.
Yeah, I feel that, but like Vasquez is a decent receiver as
No.
well. You got to fill in the gaps. You know, he's playing the money ball angle. You know, what can he do? Get on base. They're playing
All
the
right.
money ball angle.
They'll find a guy. They got plenty of draft capital for him. They'll be able the next year or
Exactly.
two find somebody.
Okay, I'm
to
just
replace
talking about this next year. And
This-
I'm sick of hearing from pundits. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a better quarterback because he doesn't have Devontae Adams.
him. No, that doesn't happen.
No, yeah.
You don't lose the best receiver in football and become a
Second
better
best.
quarterback.
And Pepper with his little switchy walk, what was the name of the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback? I'm sorry,
Patrick
What's his name?
Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. He's going to
Come
be a
with the frog.
better quarterback. I'm making a joke, by the way. He's going to be better because he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. Well, the point I'm making is with the Facebook post was, damn it, if Joe Montana had just forced Jerry Rice out of town, he would have really had a Hall of Fame career. That's the point I'm making. And
Yeah, I
I'll
see
be
your point.
insane.
I get what you mean. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. These guys are not going to be better, but I see Kansas City getting by. That's all I really got to say about it. Kansas City is going to get by with what they have.
Yeah, they can get by, but they won't be better. Jeremy?
Exactly.
No, I think you've got two quarterbacks who are good at making the talent around them play better up to their standards, and I think that the talent is better in Kansas City right now at wide receiver. We're going to see what he can get out of Alan Lazard in his third year in Green Bay. I haven't seen it from that guy that he's a number one, but he's been there the longest, and he's probably the guy that Aaron Rodgers trusts most. So, we'll see what he can get out of those guys. But, I don't have a lot of faith in, who's the old Cobb and the other guy they signed from KC and
Sammy Watkins.
Watkins. I don't have a lot of faith in Watkins anymore. He's looked kind of washed over the last few years. So we'll see what Aaron Rodgers can do with what he's got. But I think they're situated better for this situation in KC.
You know what's exciting is week 0 is next week in college football, and guess what? We have some really interesting games, MAC games, other things. There's going to be preseason. All of that is going to continue to go on. So next week, we're actually going to be able to talk about real college football games where we have picks, and I know Jeremy loves that.
Oh, not only you get to talk about betting, but I get to bet on college football? Wow.
I was
my
never a
God.
big college football
After
guy.
that, I'm going to go watch some golf and bowling on TV. Fantastic. Making a full day of fun.
By the way, Christian and Rocky will be the team that is filling out our last team for our fantasy football group, which is awesome.
I like how
Yeah.
Loud is just telling you that you're going to be doing that, Christian. I know
Yeah,
you haven't talked to
I got
Rocky
a call.
just yet, but
I got a
you're
call from
doing
him this
it,
morning
so
going, "Hey,
fork
yeah,
over
you're
your
going to be
cash.
in the fantasy football league." I'm like, "All right."
Have
guess
you
I'm
ever
gonna
played
what is-
fantasy, Christian?
I've
I
never
assume?
played fantasy in my life.
What about Rocky? Has he ever played?
I doubt it. I don't think
Oh,
so. We
wow.
talked about this the
Okay,
other day,
so-
and he was like, "I don't think so."
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be
Yeah, it's
fun
gonna be
having
fun.
rookies in the league. So
I got to do my
times.
homework, you know.
The Raiders play the Dolphins in Miami this weekend. Jeremy, what do you think?
Are we going to see any starters? That's my question for the Raiders. Are we going to see Carr anybody this week, or are we just going to see the backups the whole time? But either way, I think it's going to be a fun, challenging game. They've got a good offense and a solid D over there in Miami. Curious to see how they play out their season as well with all the changes they've made. And this weekend, I think the Raiders are going to win again and be 3-0 in the preseason, which means nothing, but it's fun to say, I guess.
Yeah, the preseason champs. That's all the championship you guys are going to get this season.
Yeah, well, I would like to see a little bit of the starters, if possible at all. Maybe even just a series. I'm really itching for that first Carr to Devontae connection, just like the rest of the nation.
Yeah, everyone in the NFL community is waiting for that, man. I'm waiting to see it blow up on Twitter, blow up on Instagram.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun season for the Raiders. It's going to be a really fun season for you guys.
I think
By the way, Mac Jones has looked awful in the game tonight against Carolina. They're winning, but he
New
looks
England,
like
right?
crap. Yeah,
Jones,
New England,
yeah.
Carolina.
His name.
He just looks like crap. I do, man. I mean, if you're a second-year quarterback, he had one of the best play callers in the NFL last year.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, this guy, the guy who plays softball. And then this guy.
They got two guys who
Right.
haven't been offensive coordinators sharing. They've been coaches and everything, but they've never, as far as I know, they've never been OCs sharing the duties.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, and one of them's Matt Patricia. Wasn't he a defensive coach?
Yes, he
When
was.
Yeah, and he was one of the most horrible head coaches we've ever seen.
Yeah, he went and stunk it up when he had his
bad.
shot. Now he's
Right.
running the offense along with somebody else who's never been an offensive coordinator, as far as I know.
That sucks so much for Mac Jones because if you've seen the work he put on this offseason, he lost 25 pounds of fat and gained an extra 10 of muscle.
Oh,
he
and
looks
He's a center
insane.
back.
And he looks awful tonight in this game. His eyes are glassed over. I mean, he's like so suffering.
Yeah, he's
From,
gonna have a
yeah.
sophomore slump season, no doubt.
So
there.
bad. It's so bad.
I think that whole
All right,
team's gonna
guys,
struggle.
I'm jumping out. You guys finish this out. I got to go. Thanks, and we'll see you next Friday.
All right, see you, Loud.
Bye.
And that was
All right.
Loud Esmond, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he's gone. Loud is
He
gone.
He gone.
We have a few more minutes until 6 o'clock. Do you have anything you want to talk about, Christian, or should we just start wrapping it up?
Yeah, I got one thing. Here are my picks for this weekend. Specifically on the Texans and the Rams. I said it again. Take the Rams on the 2.5. Go under on the 38.5 line. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Go Raiders, go Rams, go football.
All right, then we'll do it again next week, everyone. Thanks for joining us, whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. Tell your friends that this show's the best show you've ever seen in your life, and they need to come watch it every Friday. It's not nice to lie to your friends, but you can do it for us this one time. So,
Yeah.
catch you guys all next week. Like he said, go Rams, go Raiders, and go football. We'll see you guys next week.